Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
My next guest, Nicholas Dunne, has been on quite the journey with his business, Killowen Farm. Nicholas, the last time you joined me on Business Matters was in 2015, after Killowen Farm had won the Business of the Year award at the Wexford Business Awards. So how has your business been performing since then?
Yeah, Karl, we've been very fortunate over the last 4 years. We've continued to grow. We grow at around 25% year on year is what we currently grow. So back then we would have been quite small really in terms of production and that. So in the last 4 years we've probably tripled our production, probably tripled the size of the plant. We've probably tripled the size. At that stage I think we're on about 17, 18 employees. Today we're on 40 and we're currently recruiting and probably will be hitting the 45, 50s hopefully by the end of the year.
Nicholas, remind us about Killowen Farm and your current product range.
Yeah, I suppose, Karl, like what we are is we're very much a single-sourced product. It's very much off our own farm here. So our cows are milked in the morning, and by the afternoon that milk is gone into the factory, and the next morning is packed as yogurt. So it's a sort of a 2-day event, but it all happens within the factory here itself. We export here from, well, obviously we've our local markets and that, and then we actually export now. 4 years ago we had started in Dubai, and we've now stretched out as far as Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and we're looking actually going into Japan at the moment. So we've expanded hugely, and our markets have very much expanded out, and it's very much into the premium range. We do first class in Emirates Airlines. We do the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, which is the only 7-star hotel in the world, and then we in both in Singapore and Malaysia very much look at 5-star hotels, and out in Macau we're actually in a very exclusive resort in Macau where the Chinese spend a lot of their time on holiday and that, and it's a very exclusive spot as well. So there's the type of markets we deal with abroad.
There's no doubting it's a great success story here in County Wexford, and as you say, it's a premium product, and Killowen has been recently recognised at the 2019 Great Taste Awards in that respect. But what are the Great Taste Awards all about?
Yeah, I suppose, Karl, we've been taking part in the Great Taste Awards since about 2005. We started to go in, and really in 2008 then we won our first 3-star Great Taste Award. And ever since we've been winning 1 star, 2 stars, and on numerous of products we could win, on 7 or 8 products or whatever. But we've never been able to get back to that. The real high spot, which is a 3-star. It's a very, very hard award to achieve. It's based on roughly be about 12,500 entries of products into the Great Tastes in the UK. So it's a society in the UK. It's called the Guild of Fine Food, and they take in around 12,500 products a year, and they'll grade them. There's only 50 products out of that 12,500 that will get a 3-star Great Taste Awards, and there's never any more than 50. So we're part of that 50 this year. We've won it for our blackcurrant glass jar. Out of that, only 10 actually have been awarded to Ireland, and we're the only yogurt factory in both Ireland and the UK to achieve it.
And how will that award win benefit Killowen Farm?
Hugely, Karl, in the sense of there's great prestige in actually winning this award because they're so scarce. You won't I think we would know maybe we've only 2 or 3 other over the last maybe 10, 15 years. There's 2 yogurt companies. I think about another 2, maybe 3 at most after being awarded, and most of them have gone to the UK. I don't think any of them actually have been here in Ireland itself. So this prestige of actually going into our retailers is huge in the sense that we're going in here, and it's the most important thing because it's all about taste. It's not to do what we do like in a business from a day to day. This is all about the product we produce.
And as a result of this award win, you are now eligible for consideration for the Golden Fork Award.
Yeah, this would be, I suppose, this would probably be like getting to heaven, Karl, I suppose, in a way, because it is to win something like that would open up doors right across the world. They are very, very prestigious and very rare in Ireland. I think maybe 2 or 3 people have got a Golden Fork.
Now, I know that you've been dealing with the multiples all the way across from Super Value to Dunnes and Tesco and others for many years now, but you've recently got a great breakthrough with those.
Absolutely, Carl. For the first time ever, we're nationwide now with Dunnes stores. So the vast majority of our products are in Dunnes stores. The same goes now for Super Value. Over the last couple of weeks, we've launched new products into Super Value that have gone nationwide. And in the last 2 months, we've actually launched into Tesco, almost nationwide. We're in about 50, 60 stores throughout Tesco's.
And is the decision by a multiple down to your product range and how well your product is selling in their stores?
Absolutely. If we don't sell, Carl, we'll be out in 3 or 4 months. So it's important that people get out there and buy our product or whatever, and we have to market that and get it through to people that's out there. And we're going to be doing tastings. You'll see us out in the next couple of weeks out doing tastings in the different Dunnes, Tesco's and Super Values here in Wexford. And anyone that's going to be travelling through the country, they're going to see us in Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway. You name it. At this stage, we're going to have to get out there now and really drive it. And if we're successful in this, we're going to stay in there. But like the yogurt market is a difficult market, although there's huge potential in it. I think the piece that we all forget about sometimes is that 70% of the yogurt consumed in Ireland is imported.
And that's from major players, Nicholas, isn't it?
Oh, like there's some of the biggest players in the world, the Danones and the Oppleys and the Mullers and that. They're huge players and they dominate the markets because they're so large, and we've been fighting against that, for the last number of years, and now getting a bit of attraction through. So, it's getting people to move from them and to move into the more locally sourced products and so forth. That's the battle for us, and we are starting to win a little bit of that battle.
And on the topic of big players, I believe you recently got an opportunity to get a rare insight into Coca Cola, and that was all facilitated through Enterprise Ireland's Thrive programme. You were one of a very small select number of companies that were chosen to do so. Provide us with an insight into that, Nicholas.
Yeah, Carl, I tell you, we've been incredibly lucky over the years, and the different opportunities and so forth that we've been given. But Enterprise Ireland have selected us into a program called Thrive, which is sponsored by Coca Cola. And what Coca Cola do then is they took us to Atlanta, and they showed us around their head office in Atlanta, and the home of Coca Cola since 1886. And it brought us through the history and how the company was built and how they packaged their product, how they deliver it out, how they look at and assess products out there that they work with and have merged with over the years. And they give us great insight into that, and as part of this program, that'll bring us over to the UK, and we'll be going to visit Innocent in September. And then there's workshops and that to do with marketing and finance and so forth as well. But absolutely a super experience just to see how someone at probably the largest brand in the world actually works.
Now, a growing problem facing product manufacturers like your own, of course, is the contentious issue of plastic packaging. What are you doing about that in Killowen?
Yeah, so we're very, very conscious, Carl, of the packaging that we're currently putting out there. If we went back a couple of years ago, we would have been putting out, packaging like every other company that just wasn't recyclable or whatever. But everything we're currently putting on, and we very much have focused on glass in the last 2 or 3 years, and so we've our current 140-gram glass premium jar. The glass obviously is 100% recyclable, made of 40% recyclable material. Our caps now are 100% recyclable, so we've dealt with them, and now we've brought it back to 4-pack glass jars, and again the glass is 100% recyclable, and the lids are 100% recyclable, and the sleeve is 100% recyclable. And then we come back to this dreadful word, plastic. And I suppose the piece that we learned from Coca Cola, because they've spent so much time researching or whatever, and their advice very much to us is that plastic is going to play a huge role going forward, and it depends on the type of plastic that you use. The plastic that you use has to be 100% recyclable, and that's what we've been moving to, and I think we're almost there, except maybe 1 or 2 products in the bulk range that we need to find a solution for it. But all our current packaging going out in our small pots and larger pots of yogurt now are all polypropylene, which is 100% recyclable. So as long as that's washed and cleaned and left back dry into recyclable, it is 100% recyclable.
Nicholas, we're hearing a lot about the need for farm diversification, and you've been successful managing this at Killowen. But what advice do you have for anybody who is considering diversifying their activities on the farm?
I think the first thing is, Karl, is that there's always great opportunity out there. And, I would see, like, there's if you take it, in the yogurt market, although it's a very difficult market to get into, you just look at there's 70% of yogurt imported. The amount of cheese, farmhouse cheese, that's still imported into Ireland. So, there's opportunities there. There's a whole, we would even look at ourselves here on our own farm and we're looking at, next steps we're going to have to make here is like, we are going to have to become carbon neutral. How do we become carbon neutral? These are the things from now that we start to look in, and that raises opportunities for any farmer that can believe, listen, if I can become carbon neutral, what can I produce off my farm that we can sell in the supermarket, or what can I provide to someone else that gives them, that they will pay me more for the projects I come off. So sometimes, I think there's so much opportunity out there, but it's how you look at it. It's in some cases, to go and, I suppose if you walk through the plant here, it's extensive now at this stage in the sense of, all the infrastructure is there. And if I had to go out and do that tomorrow morning, it would be very difficult to start fresh from it. But if I was starting out in the morning, what I'd be looking at is what can I produce on my farm that's very sustainable, that buys into the whole carbon neutral piece and the sustainability piece. And who's my customer out there that can take that off, that'll pay me more if I do this?
And finally, Nicholas, as we look to the future, what are your plans for growing and developing Killowen Farm over the next number of years?
Yeah, Carl, we're looking at a number of projects at the moment. We're currently looking at very much being very sustainable going forward, carbon neutral piece, and how we can maybe generate a bit of energy ourselves here in the factory, and that's one part of it. The next part of it then is the whole our market, and we are hoping to capitalise now on the national listings that we've got and grow that. That's very much on the home side, but very much we're looking for export, and we've made huge inroads into Dubai and Singapore and out in the Far East, and maybe how can we replicate that through Europe? And maybe what we've also looked at is the whole Brexit piece that has forced us to look out beyond the UK, because it just is very difficult to get into the UK because there's so much uncertainty. But that'll change, and we'll see that coming right. But what it has done is it forced us to get onto a plane and travel to France, travel to Germany and different parts of Europe, and start saying, listen, what is the needs out there? And we have identified a few products that we believe will work out there, and we currently have them in MPD here.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Nicholas Dunne from Killowen Farm, and we wish them every continued success on their exciting journey.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.